Managing your post-retirement medical aid liability. Being an employer of choice requires luring new hires with the types of benefits that will reel in the best possible skills and talents. A post-retirement medical aid, PRMA, can appear on first glance to be the magic ingredient in meeting this task. However, much could change by the time you're obligated to start paying for this employee benefit. Life expectancy could increase dramatically, along with the cost of healthcare and administering this benefit properly. Old Mutual Corporate provides solutions to employers who have post-retirement medical aid liabilities. These are born of a promise from employers to subsidize the medical aid contributions of employees after they retire from the company. The range of solutions helps employers to either remove this liability from the balance sheet or to manage the underlying risks of the liability separately from the employer's core business. The main challenge that employers face is that while this obligation remains, so do all the risks underpinning the subsidy promise. By bringing your PRMA liability to Old Mutual Corporate, we can help you devise a strategy to ease or even remove your burden. Aside from simply accepting the ever-increasing liability of your company's PRMA offering, there are three possible actions Old Mutual can help you undertake by themselves or together to reduce your risk exposure. Amending the obligation can reduce the size and value of the liability. By negotiating with your employees to adjust the specifics of their PRMA contracts, perhaps by changing the terms from a percentage of their contribution to a fixed amount which is tied to inflation, you'll be taking action to help you better constrain your liability to a predictable and manageable size. The act of altering a written contract could be viewed by some as a broken promise or an admission of a mistake. If your company is worried about being placed in a negative light or would like to avoid potential resistance from employees, it would be wise to consider these factors. Settling the obligation. If the number of employees on benefit has decreased or the business is particularly cash flush, then settling the outstanding liability is an option. The benefit of settling early would be the total removal of the liability and the cost of administering it. The most obvious downfall of settling the liability is the cost involved. Typically, to buy employees out of their PRMA benefits requires a sweetener or additional remuneration over and above the originally assessed value, and employees who are already enjoying their retirement may not be keen to take up the offer regardless. Ensuring the solution by establishing an offsetting asset. By taking the insurance option, you're able to offset the PRMA liability with an IAS 19 plan asset. Beyond simply taking the liability off your balance sheet, an insurance solution aids in mitigating the risks of increasing medical aid and administration costs. While the obligation is removed from the balance sheet, it still exists and the company is still liable to remunerate the employees. However, by taking steps to manage the liability, the company is able to better prepare for the uncertainty of skyrocketing medical costs. If your company is currently burdened with a post-retirement medical aid obligation, speak to Old Mutual to find out which options are best suited to your company's strategy and your employees' well-being. Old Mutual Corporate, a licensed financial services provider.